I apologize, 2 minutes late. Welcome to the Tower Truck Unified School District June 11th board meeting. The board did meet in closed session with no reportable action. At this point, Paula Bossler, would you join us or lead us in our Pledge of the Allegiance, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that, Paula. Superintendent Kramer, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, staff would like to make 2 changes. We'd like to remove 22.1 and 22.2. They were first read board items, and we still want to make a few adjustments. 22.1 and 22.2, please scratch.
22.1 and 22.2.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone care to make a motion with the adjusted agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving to 7.0. 7.1, do you need, no, I'll just go. The board, this is an action item. So the board did review the recommendation for the stipulated suspension expulsion agreement, 2425 case number 1, in closed session. Is there a motion on the table to approve the agreement 2425 number 1?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement 2024-25 number 1.
Thank you. In a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And then 7.2, the board did meet referencing the recommended and reviewed the recommendation for the stipulated suspended expulsion agreement 2024-25 case number 2. And would there be a motion on the table to approve this agreement?
I'll make a motion also for agreement 2024-25 number 2.
And I'll
To approve
second.
it.
Thank you, Chris. And all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for those. At this point, we are moving to public comment, and I have 2 public, we did have, actually, there were 2 public comments that we were received earlier that the board did review in closed session before this meeting, and they will be put into records. We do have 2 public comments, and I'm just wondering, is there any, there's nothing on the board. Okay, so, sorry, I thought you had mentioned something, so I apologize. We have 2 public comments, 3 minutes per person, and if you would come to the dais and turn the little green light on. Teresa Epilati, is that correct?
Apolito.
Apolito. Or you can have Stakely go first. Should he go first? Okay, so I saw that. Number 1. Dave Stakely, please. Or Doctor.
My cuticles are like.
Okay, for you.
I think I might, I don't know.
Wait, before you start, can I just show you my just
Those
happened.
were a good buy. I like those.
Those actually, you gotta
Although,
be,
they're not great school clothes.
No.
I'm not trying to wear my slides to teach.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
Good choice.
Hi, my name is David Stakely. I'm the former TTA lead negotiator. Nice to see you all again. Happy that I'm not seeing you all as much anymore. Sorry, Paula. And I'm here to discuss the increase in health costs. I acutely understand the challenge that the increase in health costs presents for all parties involved and all units in the district. The 24%-ish, was that the number? Yeah, that was presented represents the average increase across all units and plans. It is a larger increase for plans that are +1 and families because those plans cost more money in the first place. Some plans are going to increase like close to 40% or something like that, and that equates to an increase in costs of hundreds of dollars per month. And specifically, that's going to hit CSEA even more because their healthcare costs are a greater percentage of their overall salary, right? Because they're not making as much. Additionally, CBT has an opt-out cost. So even if you decide like, hey, I'm going to go on my own, I'm going to get on my spouse's plan, you are still going to have to deal with the financial penalty of the opt-out cost, and that also is going to increase this year. So I'm looking forward to and have faith that the current board and the current administration will find solutions to this crisis so we can attract and retain great educators. I appreciate that it is a crisis and it is not of our own making, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we solve it together.
Thank you. Teresa?
Thank you. Teresa Polito. I've been a district employee since, I don't know, a long time, 1997 maybe. Been at Alder Creek since it was built, and I too, like Dave, am just concerned about the increase. And I don't know, as he was saying his numbers, I'm thinking as a math teacher, maybe I messed this up, but when I looked at the numbers, the increase is going to be almost $800 a month for my plan. And yes, I am on the family plan. And so I am concerned, and again, I know this is not the district's fault, but I hope that you could look at it in terms as an employee, that my insurance will be just hover around $4,000 a month. So I think my take-home pay is going to be similar to what I was bringing home about 10 years ago by my estimates. And I find that appalling as I'm trying to retire that my pay is going down, yet my costs are going up. And I appreciate the district has really increased the pay to attract younger teachers, but I feel as a old, longtime employee that the last few raises we've kind of been neglected. But my cost of living has not. I have 4 kids that at one time were all in college, and because I am employed and my husband supposedly works, we don't qualify for financial aid, and the estimated cost of my contribution has been hovering around $60,000 per kid. So at 1 year it was over $200,000, which I don't earn. And so on paper, my pay looks decent enough, but my take-home pay is going to be equivalent to 10 years ago. So I would like to, again, work with the district and try to come up with a plan. I'm hoping you're not choosing the option of a broker, because I think that's a lot of money. And I think that their interests are more about their benefits and not the employees. So I'm hoping that the district and TTA can work together and have a good solution for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa and David. At this point, any other comments for us? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Moving to 9.0, am I correct in assuming that there are no student reps?
Yep.
We gave them the week off since it's the end of the year. At this point, 10.0, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, for this item, we'll turn to our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Mrs. Shawn Roderick.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the Board of Trustees, and community members. We are pleased to provide an update from our District English Learner Advisory Committee. This evening, we will share the significant work and collaborative efforts our families have engaged in throughout the school year. The 2025 DLAC and ELAC teams have demonstrated exceptional dedication in fostering family and community engagement across all of TTUSD. We are deeply grateful for their unwavering commitment to supporting the families, students, and staff of TTUSD. It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Colburn and Mrs. Kane, who will welcome and introduce our DLAC committee members.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Colborn. I'm the English Language Development Program Specialist for Tahoe Truckee Unified. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. And Barbara Kane. Come and introduce yourself. We've practiced, but we're nervous.
I'm Barbara Kane. I'm the Coordinator of Translations and Bilingual Community Services for the school district.
And I'd like to just explain to you briefly how our presentation will work. We have some of our representatives from DLAC today, and they'll be introducing themselves. Due to circumstances, not all of our DLAC representatives were able to come this evening. So we will do our best, and I'm so proud to say that our DLAC families will be reading their own ideas from a script that we created. And they'll be reading in Spanish first. Maria Torres has been interpreting the presentation or the evening so far. And so our DLAC representatives will read in Spanish first, and then either Barbara or myself will be reading the English version. So thank you for your patience. And you also get to experience, what it's like to have real-time interpretation. And with that said, should we begin? Thank you. Maria is actually going to be our first reader, reading on behalf of Gabriel.
Good evening. My name is Maria Torres, and I'm going to be reading on behalf of Gabriel Correa. Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva. Somos los padres del Comité Asesor de Estudiantes de Inglés del Distrito Escolar DLAC. Estamos aquí esta noche para compartir nuestras experiencias, nuestras celebraciones y nuestras esperanzas y sueños para nuestros estudiantes que aprenden el inglés. Para muchos de nosotros, esta es la primera vez que hablamos directamente frente a la mesa directiva. Les damos las gracias por esta oportunidad de compartir nuestras voces, que son vitales para el éxito de nuestros hijos. Gracias a la iniciativa de participación comunitaria, hemos estado trabajando para reimaginar las reuniones de DLAC y ILAC. Nuestro objetivo es hacerlas más acogedoras, accesibles y empoderadoras para todos los padres. Esperamos que se sienta el impacto de este trabajo hoy y en el futuro.
Good evening, members of the board. We are the parents of the District English Learner Advisory Committee, and we are here tonight to share our experiences, our celebrations, our hopes, our dreams for our English learner students. For many of us, this is the first time speaking directly to the board, and we are grateful for this opportunity to share our voices, which are vital to the success of our children. Thanks to the Community Engagement Initiative, we have been working to reimagine DLAC and ELAC meetings, making them more welcoming, accessible, and empowering for all parents.
En los últimos 2 años, a través de la iniciativa de participación comunitaria CEI, nos hemos enfocado en mejorar nuestras reuniones de padres para impulsar una participación familiar activa. Hemos explorado diversos enfoques, adquiriendo conocimientos valiosos y celebrando logros significativos. El éxito importante ha sido el crecimiento de nuestros comités asesor de estudiantes de inglés, ELAC y DLAC, tanto a nivel del distrito como en las escuelas. Hemos notado un aumento en la participación y debates más significativos, lo que demuestra nuestro compromiso con la diversidad de perspectiva y colaboración. Al consolidar DLAC y ELAC como el grupo central de los padres y fortalecer los lazos con el distrito, estamos construyendo una comunidad más inclusiva. Nuestro equipo del CEI se ha dedicado a eliminar las barreras que impiden la asistencia. Esto incluye ofrecer cenas comunitarias, cuidados de niños, hacer invitaciones personales y asegurar que los lugares de la reunión sean convenientes, todo basado en los comentarios que recibimos de los padres. A medida que continuamos con estos esfuerzos, sabemos que aún tenemos más trabajo que hacer para mejorar la participación de la comunidad. Estamos aprendiendo la diferencia crucial entre simplemente informar y verdaderamente involucrar a los padres y escuchar a nuestra comunidad. Al fomentar un compromiso genuino, empoderamos a nuestra comunidad para que se apropie de las decisiones y esté en el centro del proceso. I'm going to read it in English now. In the last 2 years of our CI journey with DLAC and ELAC, we set out to improve parent meetings to drive active family engagement. We've explored various approaches, gained value insights, and celebrated significant achievements. One major success we have seen is the growth of our district and school English Learner Advisory Committees, DLAC and ELACs. We've seen a surge in participation and more meaningful discussions, demonstrating our commitment to diverse perspectives and collaboration. By making DLAC and ELAC a central parent group and strengthening its ties with the district, we are building a more inclusive community. Our CEI team has focused on removing barriers to attendance by providing communal dinners, childcare, personal invitations, and convenient meeting locations, all based on parent feedback. As we continue these efforts, it is clear we have more to do to improve community engagement. We're learning the crucial differences between merely informing and truly engaging and listening to our families. By fostering genuine engagement, we empower our community to take ownership and be at the heart of decision-making.
Good evening. My name is Helene Brambila. Queremos empezar esta noche celebrando el progreso que hemos logrado. En DLAC valoramos la diversidad de opiniones que nos ayudan a crear propuestas sólidas para el bienestar de nuestros hijos. Estamos muy orgullosos de los avances que hemos visto gracias a nuestras solicitudes para mejorar el éxito estudiantil y su educación. Nos sentimos valorados como padres en estas reuniones. Celebramos que tanto los administradores escolares como los del distrito nos tomen en cuenta, que nuestras voces sean escuchadas y que veamos resultados concretos.
Thank you, Selene. We want to begin by celebrating the progress we've made at DLAC. We celebrate the diversity of opinions that help us create strong proposals for our children. We are proud of the achievements we've seen from our requests to improve student success and their education. We feel valued as parents in these meetings. We celebrate that school and district administrators take us into account and that our voices are heard and that we see results.
Good evening. My name is Selene Rodríguez. En nuestras reuniones de DLAC e ILAC celebramos que se nos proporcione cuidado de niños y cena, lo que nos facilita muchísimo la asistencia. También celebramos la accesibilidad del horario, la cena y el cuidado de niños, lo que realmente nos facilita la participación. Estamos muy agradecidos por la información proporcionada, porque casi siempre es información que se nos ha solicitado y estamos especialmente agradecidos por los esfuerzos del personal para resolver y ayudar a los padres con nuestras preocupaciones y preguntas. Valoramos profundamente cómo en nuestras reuniones se prioriza la interacción con la información y sobre todo la escucha activa de los padres. Para nosotros es de gran aprecio que el liderazgo elija escuchar primero antes de presentar, porque esto nos empodera y asegura que nuestras perspectivas sean la base de las decisiones, no solo formalidad.
At our DLAC and ELAC meetings, we celebrate that child care and dinner are provided, making it easier for us to attend. We also celebrate the accessibility of the schedule, dinner, and child care, which makes it easier for us to participate. Salud. We are grateful for the information provided because it's almost always information we have asked for, and we are especially grateful for the staff's efforts to resolve and help parents with our concerns and questions. In our meetings, there is an effort to engage with information and listen to parents, to lead with listening rather than lead with talking.
Finalmente, permítanos hablar de nuestras esperanzas y sueños para nuestros estudiantes que aprenden inglés. Nuestro mayor sueño es que nuestros hijos no solo aprendan inglés, sino que sobresalgan y tengan todas las oportunidades que merecen en sus futuras carreras. Esperamos que los programas de aprendizaje del idioma inglés, ELD, en todas nuestras escuelas sigan siendo sólidos y brinden el apoyo específico que nuestros hijos necesitan para prosperar. Soñamos con un futuro en el que todos nuestros hijos, independientemente de su primer idioma, tengan acceso a excelentes recursos. Gracias por darnos esta oportunidad de compartir con ustedes. Estamos emocionados de seguir trabajando juntos para hacer realidad estos sueños.
Our biggest dream is for our children to not only learn English, but to excel and have all the opportunities they deserve in their future careers. We hope that ELD programs in our schools will continue to be strong and provide the specific support our children need to thrive. We dream of a future where all our children, regardless of their first language, have access to excellent resources.
I want to speak for Erika because she loves her voice. Esperemos que más estudiantes que están aprendiendo el inglés comprendan la importancia de DLAC y ILAC y se conviertan en participantes activos en la formación de su propia educación. Queremos que sepan que sus voces también son cruciales. Agradecemos profundamente a los maestros y asistentes de instrucción que apoyan a nuestros hijos en el aprendizaje del inglés. Y con todo ese apoyo esperemos ver que más niños puedan reclasificarse y celebrar ese gran logro.
We hope that more English learner students understand the importance of DLAC and ELAC and become active participants in shaping their education. We appreciate the teachers and instructional assistants who support our children learning English and that more children are able to reclassify.
My name is Tina Ramírez. También queremos compartir algunas ideas sobre cómo podemos mejorar. Pedimos que todos los padres de familia sean informados de todas las reuniones y que se utilicen todos los medios de comunicación disponibles para invitarlos. Queremos incluir a padres más allá de solo los estudiantes que están aprendiendo inglés. Deseamos invitar también a los padres de estudiantes que ya han sido reclasificados, a todos los padres multibilingües e incluso incluir más la voz de los propios estudiantes. Creemos que podemos involucrar aún más a los padres en nuestras reuniones de ILAC si aclaramos el propósito de ILAC y DILAC y si enfatizamos que estamos abogando por la mejora para todos los estudiantes. Este año abogamos para que los fondos del título 3 se gastaran en añadir apoyo académico específico de maestros certificados en los programas de verano de Boys and Girls Clubs. También necesitamos más apoyo en el programa ILOP y más apoyo con las tareas escolares en el Boys and Girls durante todo el año escolar.
Thank you, Tina. We also want to share some ideas on how we can improve. We ask that all parents are informed of all meetings and use all means of communication to invite us. We want to include parents beyond just parents of English learners, but also parents of students who have been reclassified, all multilingual parents, and even include more student voice. We think that we can involve more parents in our ELAC meetings if we clarify the purpose of ELAC and DLAC and clarify that we are advocating for improvement for all students. This year, we advocated that Title III funds be spent to add specific academic support from certificated teachers in summer programs at the Boys and Girls Clubs. We also need more support in ELOP and more homework support at the Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the school year.
Creemos que podemos construir conexiones aún más fuertes. Pedimos más contacto entre los padres de DILAC y los maestros y nos preguntamos, ¿cómo puede DILAC ayudar a los maestros a tener más contacto con los padres para apoyar el progreso de los estudiantes? También nos gustaría recibir más información sobre cómo están progresando los estudiantes y cómo podemos seguir ayudándolos en casa. Queremos asegurarnos de que los estudiantes que aprenden inglés estén informados sobre los objetivos de ILAC, DILAC y que sus ideas y necesidades sean abordadas en nuestras reuniones.
We believe we can build even stronger connections. We ask for more contact between DLAC parents and teachers, and we ask, how can DLAC help teachers have more contact with parents to help with student progress? We would also like more information about how students are progressing and how we can continue helping them at home. We want to ensure that English learner students are informed about the objectives of ELAC and DLAC and that their ideas and needs are addressed in our meetings.
And I'm speaking on behalf of a parent that couldn't make it tonight. DLAC está comprometido a fortalecer las conexiones entre los padres, las escuelas y el distrito. Creemos que al trabajar juntos podemos crear un ambiente más solidario e inclusivo para todos los estudiantes. Agradecemos el hecho de que por segundo año consecutivo DLAC ha sido parte de lo que ahora es la cumbre anual del PTO DLAC y estamos agradecidos por los administradores que nos escuchan. Creemos que aumentar la participación de los padres es clave para el éxito de nuestros hijos. Queremos invitar a los padres a ser activos en la educación de los niños, cuyo primer idioma no es el inglés. DLAC is committed to strengthening the connections between parents, schools, and the district. We believe that by working together, we can create a more supportive and inclusive environment for all of our students. We're grateful for the fact that for the second year in a row, DLAC has been part of what is now called the PTO DLAC Summit, and we're grateful for the administrators who listen to us. We believe that increasing parental involvement and engagement is key to our children's success. We want to invite parents to be active in the education of children whose first language is not English.
I get to do a fun part of sharing celebrations. Una práctica que comenzamos el año pasado es iniciar cada reunión de DLAC con celebraciones y ejemplos de cómo la voz de DLAC ha impactado en las escuelas o en todo el distrito, desde la última vez que nos reunimos. Algunos ejemplos específicos de cómo la participación de los padres de DLAC ha impactado a los estudiantes y programas en los últimos 2 años son obtener más capacitación y recursos para maestros y padres de habla hispana en los nuevos materiales de matemáticas adoptados, incluyendo tener materiales en español para que las familias puedan apoyar en casa. Asegurar que el distrito informe sobre los servicios gratuitos de tutoría de matemáticas, extender los plazos y proporcionar códigos QR para que más familias de habla hispana completen las encuestas para padres de matemáticas, simplificar el proceso de autorización de voluntarios del distrito, lo que también llevó a que la toma de las huellas digitales móvil estuviera disponible en las escuelas durante los eventos familiares para que más familias completen el proceso de autorización de voluntarios. Reunirse con el superintendente Kramer para asegurar que todas las escuelas primarias celebren el Día del Niño. La presentación de DLAC en el comité del calendario del distrito apoyó que nuestras vacaciones de primavera se alinearon con Semana Santa para apoyar a la asistencia y coordinar el feriado de viaje con el tiempo de vacaciones del distrito. Además, aumentar el apoyo académico por maestros certificados en nuestros programas de verano en los Boys and Girls Club, así como traer la vuelta Aim High. Los representantes de DLAC tuvieron una mesa para padres en los talleres de verano para llegar a más padres de habla hispana para que se involucren en sus ELACs y en la participación escolar. Reunirse con el personal de transporte de TTUSD para abogar por más transporte en autobús para excursiones y deportes. 2 más. Proporcionar información sobre las preocupaciones de las familias inmigrantes que incluyan al Departamento de Policía de Truckee y al asesor legal de Sierra Community House en las reuniones al nivel de distrito y de escuelas. Además, expandir la cumbre anual de PTO para que sea la cumbre anual de PTO y DLAC, lo que ha creado y fortalecido a las conexiones entre nuestros grupos de padres. So that was a lot because I was celebrating everything they've done. A practice that we began last year is to begin every DLAC meeting with celebrations and specific examples of how DLAC has impacted sites or the whole district since the last time we met. Some specific examples of how parent engagement of DLAC has impacted students and programs in the last 2 years are gaining more training and resources for teachers and Spanish-speaking parents in the new math-adopted materials, including having materials in Spanish so that families can support at home. Ensuring that district communication goes out regarding free math tutoring services. extending deadlines and providing QR codes so that more Spanish-speaking families complete math parent surveys, simplifying the district volunteer clearing process, which also led to mobile fingerprinting being available at school sites during family events, so more families complete the volunteer clearing process. Meeting with Superintendent Kramer to ensure that all elementary schools celebrate Day of the Child. DLAC representation in the district calendar committee supported that our spring break aligns with Semana Santa to support attendance and coordinate the travel holiday with the district vacation time. Increasing targeted academic support by credentialed teachers in our summer programs at the Boys and Girls Club, as well as bring back Aim High. DLAC reps having a parent table at summer workshops to reach more Spanish-speaking parents to be involved in their ELACs and school engagement. Meeting with TTUSD transportation staff to advocate for more bus transportation for field trips and sports. Providing information on concerns for immigrant families that included Truckee Police Department and Sierra Community House Legal Counsel at district-wide and site-level meetings. Expanding the annual PTO Summit to be the annual PTO DLAC Summit, which has created and strengthened connections between our parents' groups. Not rehearsed, but I believe that these people deserve a huge round of applause.
Estamos aquí esta noche no solo para compartir nuestras celebraciones y sueños, sino también para ofrecer nuestra colaboración. Creemos que al honrar nuestras esperanzas y sueños y celebrar nuestro progreso, podemos asegurar que cada estudiante aprendiendo inglés tenga la oportunidad de alcanzar su máximo potencial.
We are here tonight to not only share our celebrations and dreams, but also to offer our partnership. We believe that by honoring our hopes and dreams and celebrating our progress, we can ensure that every English learner student has the opportunity to reach their full potential. And lastly, a menudo terminamos nuestras reuniones de DLAC con un cierre intencional llamado última palabra. Una sola palabra que captura un sentimiento o describe el trabajo que hemos logrado. Cada uno de los miembros de DLAC compartirá una última palabra que capture un sentimiento que tenemos sobre la participación de los padres. So we often end our DLAC meetings with an intentional close called última palabra, the last word. A single word that captures a feeling or describes the work we've accomplished. Each of the DLAC members will share an última palabra that captures a feeling we have about parent engagement. ¿Listas? Esperanza.
Unión.
Amistad. Inclusión.
Escuchado.
Y validar.
And that concludes our presentation.
Thank you very much for that. That was fun. Board comments or questions?
Nomás quería recordarles, como dije la última vez que estuvimos juntas, que estoy disponible para ustedes y sé que no necesitan mi orgullo, pero esta noche estoy muy orgullosa, no solo de DLAC, pero de las mujeres que están en este salón. Gracias.
Sorry, I don't speak Spanish.
Yet.
Yet. I took French. So I just find this it's just so inclusive and a good partnership. And I love the reference to kind of transitioning from informing to now engaging, which is really a pivotal change. So I'm just really positive about what the district does with our English, Spanish learners. And I just think this is such a great presentation. So thank you for speaking.
I'm a little rusty, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Do it, girl. You got that.
Yeah. Lo que hemos visto en este distrito es un nivel de compasión y también dedicación a las familias que hablan español, que quieren que sus niños tener un nivel de educación lo que se deserven. Y también lo que hemos visto es en los 10, 15 años, más y más y más participación. En el pasado fue solamente poquitas personas y no he tenido mucha participación en las juntas, pero ahorita es una infusión realidad de nuestra de su vida en nuestro distrito. So, gracias por su presentación, fue muy interesante y quisiera que ustedes nos visitan otra vez.
Well done.
La próxima vez es su turno de hablar un poquito de inglés. Porque sí sé que saben. Poquito.
So true story, I took French. Hats off, though. I do think it's amazing the number of people that have been on this committee. Like, we've expanded it, and we've talked a lot about student voice, but it's so important to have parent voice, and sometimes we forget that, and I think this is a great catalyst to get all of our parents involved, not just the Spanish-speaking families. So I think it's something that we should probably take listen to and continue. But really, I'm happy that they feel that this group feels that they can speak, that they can actually say that this is what would make us better. And sometimes we don't know every subgroup's needs or wants. It was different when my kids were in school. So now I think it's awesome. It's a great platform to launch. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for doing that, you guys. That was great. Moving on to 11.0, Superintendent's Report. Superintendent Kramer.
I know you and
Hello. Yeah.
I know we set the agenda, and I always get after just the best presentations, so I'll do my best. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're just...
Just wanted to write something to say to you guys. Thank you for all the support and how the meetings have been so accessible to us, and how you're supporting us in all the areas. And again, tonight, for supporting us and supporting our students.
Thank you for coming without a voice. I mean, that's
Well, I want to start by a celebration of the class of 2025. Congratulations to our students. We're very excited about your future. Truckee High School had around 208 graduates, I believe. North Tahoe High School had almost 130. And Sierra High School, Coldstream Alternative, and Truckee River Program had 20 graduates. So we're so excited for their futures, and we thank their families for their commitment and all of our TTUSD staff who have nurtured them and poured care and just educating them. We know they have bright futures, so congrats to the class of 2025. Yeah. And a reminder that we have a study session on Friday at noon. And the purpose of this study session is for the board to hear a presentation from the district athletic committee and have an extended conversation and discussion about the potential switch to CIF. So the public is invited. They will be observing the discussion in the meeting, and there'll be limited public comment at the end. We appreciate all of the public involvement and public comments we received at the prior athletics meetings, and I know the board is looking forward to having a chance to discuss this important topic more. And then it's the district strategic plan update with the report card on how we're doing. So we're concluding year 2 of our 3-year district strategic plan. And just as a reminder, it's organized into 3 strategic focus areas: academic achievement, support systems, and community connections. And so the task force 2 years ago identified 3 priorities in each of these focus areas, and then staff develops the actions. So we're giving a report card on how we did on our actions this year. We try to keep the public and the board informed throughout the school year, so this is just the tracking tool that Amber and I have. On the left there are the 3 strategic focus areas and then the action items underneath. And so we've addressed each action item at least once in a board meeting, either in my superintendent's update or a presentation. For example, last meeting on May 21st, Kim Bradley did an amazing presentation on the wellness program. So we try to bring the experts in to share. At the next board meeting, we will hear from Chief Technology Officer, also known as Outdoor Ed Hilton, and his team on the outdoor education program. So we'll hear a little bit more about that. So I'm going to try to not go too specific, but I'm happy to answer any questions, just knowing we've been talking about it. And also, I want to thank Amber Burke, because all of those district newsletters include updates as well. So lots of teamwork on this. So here is a report card for this year, for year 2. In academic achievement, we had 7 actions. The team in their reflections determined that 5 of them had the intent of the action complete. This is a tricky thing. In our work, we're never done, which is why I love education. We're always working to improve and meet the needs of our students and families. So even though we mark complete, we're still working on this. And then 2 in progress means that it got going, but the team didn't feel like we could really say that it's sustaining or we got as much of it done as we wanted. And you'll see in support systems very similar, with 5 actions completed, 2 in progress. And the one that's not started yet was the responsibility of your superintendent. So full disclosure, I'll talk more about what was there, but I'm the one that was not started yet, my team. And then community connections, all of the actions were complete. So for academic achievement, just trying to summarize, I want to acknowledge that this work is done and led by the executive cabinet and their teams. So in the area of academic achievements, that is our educational services team and also human resources. But for that first one there, 1.1, that priority is all about curriculum and instruction. And the big heavy lift this year was the new math curriculum implementation. So huge thank you to our teaching staff for persevering and having open minds and embracing the math professional development, asking great questions, working with the curriculum providers to improve. It's been an amazing experience, and thanks to Mrs. Roderick and her team for leading all of that. But we just want to acknowledge that learning a new curriculum is very time consuming, and we appreciate our families and our teachers and our students for jumping in and really embracing it. And then, Sarah Colborn left. So then academic discourse, this was year 2. Sarah Colborn was working with the administrators, the school principals and APs, and just talking about how to support our teachers and trying different walkthrough tools. And again, thank you to her team and to Ed Services and to the teachers for embracing this important instructional practice. In priority area 1.2, the gray line there, that priority is all about supporting our staff and making sure that we're attracting and retaining them. So collaboration is important, professional development. So very exciting that in our collective bargaining with CSEA in the fall, we added to the contract language for professional development compensation. So our CSEA has been asking for support in PD, and at the table, everyone made it happen, which was very exciting. And then we've been working hard on teacher collaboration. I don't know if they've been tracking, Ms. Roderick, how many, are we over 50? Over 100 different opportunities for grade levels, department, so lots of collaboration happening. And then Human Resources rolled out a new online evaluation tool, and we are always seeking feedback. It is not delivering the way that the vendor said it would, and so after hearing feedback from the team, we're going to continue searching. So I love the fact that we try something, and if it's not working right and we get the feedback, we're going to keep going back to the drawing board. And then in priority 1.3, that's about our students' pathway through our district on their way to their high school diploma, and really making sure they're exposed to career and post-secondary opportunities. And so the team at Services has been working on how do we track this? So work-based learning, internships, all of that is what we want. We heard throughout the process of forming the strategic plan. So there is now an accounting system in ARIES, which is our student database and attendance tool, to really track which students are getting this exposure to industry speakers and post-secondary examples of trade schools and careers. I know we were over 90 contacts at one point. I don't know where we ended up. Right around that. Okay, about around 100. Well, that's...
We were moving quickly in the fall,
and then it
plateaued a little in spring, but we were right about 100.
That's amazing. And then along with that, with our career technical education collaboration teams, is the interest is to move some of that down also to middle schools and elementary schools, so the students have tastes of what is possible throughout their pathway with us, so that when they get to the high schools, they know about culinary, they know about engineering. So, and we have one of our enrichment teachers here that helps with that, Paula. So again, thank you. This is a team effort. This is all of TTUSD working together to provide the effective evidence-based instruction for all of our students to pursue pathways of personal interest to earn a high school diploma. So very excited about that progress. In support systems, the priority 2.1, that is supporting our students with mental health services, along with attending, getting them here to school and staying and being able to focus in the classroom. So we heard from Kim Bradley about the wellness centers last time and about that new pilot for the SEL screener. And as we know, we heard from Dr. Cohen earlier in the year that our second year of the attendance campaign has had a very positive impact. Our chronic absenteeism rates have gone down quite a bit. And as you review the LCAP, you probably noticed that data in there as well. Priority 2.2, this was mine about student voice. I was hoping that I could come up with a way to have the students participate in cabinet more in a meaningful way, and I just could never get it off the ground, because whenever we ask opinion or have voice, we wanted to actually influence and do something. So I'm still thinking about that, and that's why it was marked red. We did have good success this year with the student reps participating in the Parent Superintendent Advisory Meeting. That was very, very meaningful. The parents enjoyed hearing the student perspective, and it was very grassroots in the sense that a topic would come up the parents wanted to talk about, and then we would have the student voice right there. So we're definitely going to keep building on that. And then you know that we have the social emotional committees established at the school sites, and they've been looking at the curriculum and the screeners. And then 2.3 is our business services and facilities teams. So we have that facilities master plan. So Todd and his team look at the less expensive but very meaningful projects we can tackle before we get a facilities bond passed in the future. And then part of 2.3 in that infrastructure and feedback loop is the CALM committee. And thanks to Dee Dee and Pat, who are our trustees that sit on that on that committee. We have done a morale survey the last 2 years, and something that we learned from the data was that staff were not feeling valued and seen. So as you know, we worked last summer on a possible district recognition idea, and I took it out to sites and departments to vet it, and we learned that the idea that we had actually didn't make them feel more valued and seen. So through that vetting process, we let that go. But our administrators and department coordinators and directors are really working on those in the department and at the school site recognition activities, and there's been some positive feedback. And thanks to our board for the spotlight visits and for the cards, and really just acknowledging our staff for the hard work that they do. And then I'm also excited to share with 2.3, under Todd's leadership, we're working on updating our district-level emergency operations plan for all of us together. And we have a training in August with the entire district leadership team, all the leadership, so that's about 35 of us. And then the next day it will be for the school site teams on incident command. So we know that being able to respond in an emergency is so important, and having the most up-to-date training and best practices. And the consulting group, which you guys heard a little bit about, they have been through the wildfires. They really have the on-the-ground experience. So we are really looking forward to those trainings. So thanks. And so for this is a huge thank you for this whole focus area to our student services team and our business services team for all of their leadership in support systems. Then for community connections, going back, I just want to call out in the LCAP survey, with student voice, what was exciting to see in the data was that from student, staff, and families' perception, they are seeing that our staff at large listens to students. So overall, out of all the people taking the survey, we had a 7% increase over the year before to 79%. But in our English learners, we had 8% increase to 89%. So all the work that you heard with the DLAC and that listening, our staff are listening to the kids and they feel it, and parents see that too. So I just thought that that was neat that the data showed that as well. And then with community connections, in 3.1, Dr. Cohen was leading this. The focus this year on inclusion was with our students with disabilities, and they had focus groups, and they worked with community partners and increased accessibility for certain community activities. So that was really positive. And then in the LCAP survey data, what we saw was the family's perception of the district encouraging parental involvement went up 12% for students with disability families to 86%. So the work that Dr. Cohen was doing in the fall, we did see evidence of that in the survey as well. So that was very exciting. And then 3.2 is making sure that our families and students are supported at transition times, and that we're doing the outreach to higher needs groups and some groups that don't have as much of a voice. And then you saw the great results with the DLAC and the ELAC teams. So this spring, Hanover did a needs assessment for us of that important transition from elementary to middle school. And they have all of the data, they will analyze it, and then the team will be looking at it next year to see what actions we need to take. And then you heard from the experts today from our DLAC team about how the positive impact of reimagining those ELAC meetings has been. And no survey data for that one. 3.3, that is making sure we're expanding our community partnerships. And we know how supportive the community is because we get the pleasure of accepting the donations and the grants that they give us. So Amber has been working on a document that lists all the amazing partners, what they provide to make sure all of our schools know about what's out there. And we were interested. We didn't know if the team would really be interested in this, and they were very excited about that. So we're working on that. And what we saw in the LCAP survey from the students and families, their perception of does the district encourage community involvement, and we saw increase here as well. Out of all of the people that took the survey, there was a 10% increase to 87%, and our English learner families' perception was 12% increase to 92%. And socially economically disadvantaged was 11% increase to 89%. So our families are seeing this high level of community involvement and support in the school sites and around the district. And then, probably the icing on the cake, I don't have a good metaphor tonight for this, but the Ride Out School transformation into the Tahoe Outdoor Learning Lab. You're going to hear more about this at the next board meeting, but a huge shout out to Chief Technology Officer Ed Hilton and his team, Susie Dale and Andy Beatty, for leading the transformation. So yeah, that was huge. But overall, with Community Connections, if you look at the statement there, proactively support belonging and inclusion for all students. In the LCAP data, what we saw is that students' perception overall of belonging went up 1% to 51%. So we know we still have some work there. But the subgroup data was really interesting. Our English learners' perception and sense of belonging this year went up 24% to 73%. So again, thank you to our English learner teachers and programs. Kate Teller and Sarah happened to be here tonight, but you guys are just all around are doing such an amazing work. And then our socially economically disadvantaged group, that perception increased 25% to 75%. And students with disability increased 17% to 75%. So it's so exciting to see these subgroups having that increased sense of belonging. So all of the work that the teams are doing with this district strategic plan are helping us achieve what we're looking for in those focus areas. And so the next step will be then in July, I'll bring you the year 3 actions of how we're going to keep building on this work. But thank you to all of the team members and to all the staff we're working together to engage and empower our students, and then the teams engaging our educators and staff so that we all reach our potential. And that's my update tonight.
Always a teacher with a little report card.
Yeah, I know. I just can't give it up. I have a report card.
Thank you for that update. Moving on, then that was great. Thank you for that. 12.0 is a resolution. Back to you, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and for this item, we'll turn to our Assistant Superintendent, Chief Business Officer, Mr. Todd Rivera.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board. So tonight we bring for your consideration Resolution number 35, 2024-2025, resolution of intent to convey easements to Southwest Gas Corporation for Truckee Elementary School, Truckee High School, the district office, Sierra Expeditionary Learning School, Sierra High School, and the warehouse. And this resolution is associated with a program that's offered through Southwest Gas called the Customer-Owned Yard Line Program, or COIL program. The way that our natural gas service currently works is that we have a main line that's located outside of our property lines. And that main line we call the street line. That's owned by Southwest Gas. They own it, maintain it. And then for our connection to the school site, we actually install a line that goes from that street line to the school building. And that is our line, and we are responsible for maintaining it. So if there's ever a leak or damage to that line, we have to do the repairs and replace it. The COIL program through Southwest actually is a great offer through them. Southwest will actually come in and replace that line that goes from the street to our building connection. And in return, they take ownership of that line, and they're responsible for maintaining it. In order to maintain this line, they need to have access to our site, which is what the easement provides for them. So that's what we're asking for right now, is just we're announcing that we have an intent to give an easement or access to Southwest Gas in order to make those repairs and to monitor the conditions of those lines. As a part of the process, this is actually a 2-step process. Our first step is to do a resolution of intent to let everyone know that we're planning on providing this easement to Southwest Gas. The next step, and also in this resolution, is including announcement of a public hearing. The next step will be at the next board meeting, where we actually open up a public hearing to take public comments on this easement process. Once that is completed, then the board can approve the easement to Southwest Gas.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board on that? So the understanding is that obviously that they are taking over the line, which is better for us so that we don't have to do repairs, but then we just give them access. So if that line ever goes, they lose their access to the, like they lose that easement. So they don't own any of the land or anything like that. It's just that access to the pipe that they now have acquired.
Yeah, it's public utility easement, and it's basically their access to repairs on that line that they own.
Awesome. Thank you. This is an action item, so since there are no questions, are there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, bring it back to the board for a vote. Would anyone care to make a motion on resolution 12.1?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 35-2024-2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, thank you. Moving to donation 13.0. Superintendent Kramer.
For this item, we'll turn back to Mrs. Roderick.
Thank you. The Truckee Rotary Community Foundation is generously donating $1,500 to support 8 sixth-grade students from Alder Creek Middle School in attending a multi-day trip around Tahoe for ecological investigation and exploring diverse ecosystems. During the students' multi-day trip, students will experience TTUSD's new outdoor education program, Tahoe Lab and Outdoor School, a multi-day adventure. The Tahoe Lab and Outdoor School offers a multi-day adventure at Lake Tahoe, fully immersing students in the wonders of the natural world. Through ecological investigations, participants explore diverse ecosystems and delve into earth science concepts, while also marveling at the night sky during stargazing sessions. Beyond academic learning, the residential program fosters crucial social-emotional skills such as teamwork, independence, and resilience, while building a strong sense of community and shared experiences to kick off the new school year. It is the staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees accepts this generous donation.
Thank you very much for that description. As always, we're amazed. Questions or comments from the board? I just had one quick thought. I was just trying to look for it to see this donation, and I always want to find out who requested it. Was that something that principal at Alder Creek requested of the Rotary? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's great. So that's, again, the fact that these committees and foundations are out there just to raise money to give back, which is great. So with that, any board comments? Any public comment? Seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to accept the donation from the Truckee Rotary Community Foundation to support ACMS Tahoe Ecosystems Tour.
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And 13.2, Superintendent Kramer.
We'll turn again to Mrs. Roderick.
Thank you. Mr. Murray Brennan is generously donating $1,000 to support instruction at Tahoe Lake Elementary School in recognition of Miss Renee Lewis. Mr. Murray would like to share his appreciation for Miss Lewis and the Tahoe Lake Elementary staff for their support of student achievement. It is the staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees accepts this generous donation.
Thank you. Any comments on that? Public comment? Seeing none, thank you for that. This is an individual donation, which is always really exciting, and thank you for that action item. So anyone care to make a motion to accept this donation?
Yes, I'll make the motion to accept the donation from Mr. Murray Brennan to support instruction at Tahoe Lake Elementary School.
And a second?
I'll second.
Great, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Moving to 14.0, Superintendent Kramer. Before we do, can I just ask, did we already acknowledge this art that's on the walls? We did, and it was cells. Sorry, thank you very much. I had that note right here, so I'll cross that off. Thank you. Back to 14.0.
Absolutely. And for this item, we'll turn back to Mr. Rivera.
Thank you very much. So if you've walked behind Truckee Elementary recently on the most westerly side of the campus, you'll notice behind those classrooms is kind of a unmaintained garden area with garden planter boxes and garden beds. This was once a thriving garden that Truckee Elementary students and staff maintained, originally established in 1990, and over the years there's been different variations of the garden behind Truckee Elementary, but over the years it's fallen into disrepair and it's no longer being maintained by the state students. The current students and staff would like to revitalize that garden, and they have project goals associated with bringing that garden back, something for the students to support social and emotional learning, and also just science learning lessons as well. So with that, some of their goals include installing new planter boxes, actually taking the existing ones out, and then creating new defensible space back there with gravel to align with current fire code requirements, and then moving the planter boxes back out a little further, and then obviously planting native plants and some food-oriented plants as well. And then also installing low drip irrigation for the beds, and then staining and repairing an existing pergola that's out in that area as well. And then also providing a walkway and access to those garden beds. So a pretty ambitious project. I'm sure it's going to turn out great. Right now they're still working with facilities in order to make this happen and seeing how much maintenance support they need. This grant from the Rotary Club is for support of these goals and to revitalize the Truckee Elementary Garden. So they're providing $1,000 towards this effort. Very generous.
Thank you for that. And actually, it was fun reading through all the backup material on what it is. I'm sure Ed's got the same sort of plans over at Right Up. Any board comments or questions? Public comment? I'm excited. I think there's no sense recreating the reel. We had a garden out and Right Out as well, so we'll just be happy to take that info over there. I'll make a motion to approve the grant from the Rotary Club of Truckee to support Truckee Elementary School's garden rehabilitation.
I'll second.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. And now we will move to 15.0, which is a public hearing. So at this point, I close our regular Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board agenda and then open a public hearing. And I will turn that over to Superintendent Kramer to explain 15.1.
And for this item, for the public hearing, 15.1 will turn to Mrs. Roderick.
Thank you. State law requires the board to hold a public hearing before adopting its 2024-2027 local control and accountability plan. The public hearing must be held at the same meeting as the public hearing scheduled for the 25-26 proposed budget. The hearing cannot be held at the same meeting in which the formal budget adoption occurs. LCAP goals and actions support the 8 state priorities and the 7 areas identified in the TTUSD Strategic Plan Pathways 2020. The public hearing provides the community with an opportunity to make comments or suggestions on the 2024-2027 Local Control Accountability Plan prior to adoption. The LCAP federal addendum is included. The LCAP federal addendum supplement to the LCAP ensures the eligible LEAs have the opportunity to meet the local educational agency plan provisions of the Every Student Succeeds Act. In addition, the local performance indicator self-reflection is included to show the district's progress in meeting the requirements of the specific local control funding formula priority. We request that the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board of Education authorize staff to make necessary technical corrections to obtain approval of the LCAP by the County Superintendent of Schools that do not change the intent or represent a substantial change to program content.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board on that topic of interest? Lots of numbers.
Go ahead.
Any public comment on that? There's a lot of numbers. Okay, so this is, since there's no public comment at this point, this is an action item. Oh, sorry, it's an info only, sorry, we don't have to do it. So the next item is 15.2, public hearing. I'll give it back to you, Superintendent Kramer.
For this public hearing item, we'll turn to Mr. Rivera.
Thank you. So as Mrs. Roderick had mentioned, Ed Code requires not only a public hearing for the LCAP, but also the proposed budget at the same meeting. So this provides an opportunity for the community to make comments on the proposed budget and possibly make changes or request changes prior to the adoption, which will occur on June 25th. So currently, the budget as is for the 25-26 school year includes general fund revenues of $102,931,489. And expenditures of $103,447,177. It's estimated that the budget will have a net increase of $730,000 on its unrestricted fund balance. We will include a full narrative, which this did not include, and then also be presenting the budget on the June 25th meeting.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Rivera. Any comments from the board?
I actually had a comment about the previous item, the plan, not so much the budget.
Okay.
I don't know why my brain got stuck on the question I asked in the homework. There was so much stuff in there, and I'm like, I kept going back to that page, and I couldn't process that particular information, so thank you, and I'm sorry. I'm like, of all the things on this plan, why am I not understanding this thing? But thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate the question.
Yeah, my apologies, though.
Sorry about that for overstepping that, Chris. If there's no more comments from the board, any public comment? Okay, thank you for that update. We will then move forward to the next meeting and take care of all that. I will close the public hearing at this point and reopen the Tahoe-Truckee Unified School District Board meeting and go to 16.0 Superintendent Kramer.
SCA is not able to make it tonight.
Okay.
But I see that we have TTA here, and Paula Bosler is coming to speak. Welcome, Paula.
I'm going to give a snapshot of the numbers. Would you like a copy before I go over them or after I'm done?
After. Okay. It's really hard to understand.
And I'm at this stage in my life. So.
Join the club, sister. It's all good.
Okay. Good evening, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, Board of Trustees, and Cabinet members. My name is Paula Bosler, and I'm here tonight as a dedicated educator, if I could speak, and as the lead negotiator for our education association, Tahoe-Truckee Education Association. On behalf of President Aaron Lefevers and our entire membership, can you hear me? Mm-hmm. I want to address an issue that strikes at the core of our members' well-being and the district's ability to retain and attract high-quality educators. As you are aware, the district and its employees' bargaining units recently received deeply concerning news. Health insurance premiums are projected to rise by an average of 24.7% or more, depending on the plan. Additionally, dental and vision premiums are set to increase by 5%. For most employees, this means hundreds of dollars more per month, thousands more per year, directly out of their take-home pay. These are the same individuals who show up every day to teach, guide, feed, and support the children of this community. They do it out of commitment, not for the paycheck. But commitment alone cannot cover these rising costs. To illustrate the impact, here are real examples comparing the 2024-25 and 2025-26 costs. I'm going to go over the lower end, employee only, and then the higher end. So for the high deductible HP1 plan, last year's premiums were, I'm going to round, $750 per month. Next year, they're estimated to come in at $851 per month. That's an increase of $100 per month or $1,200 per year. For the PPO3 plan, that's the highest plan on employee only, the premium this year was $1,200 per month. Next year it'll be $1,400. That's an increase of $210 per month, or $2,500 for the year. For a teacher at the mid-career level making $95,000 per year, that's a 2.7% pay cut. When it comes to employees plus families, on the high deductible 2 plan, that's the lowest plan, the current monthly premium is $1,800 per month. Next year, that's projected to be $2,044 per month, an increase of $225 per month, or $2,706 on the year. That equates to approximately a 2.8% pay cut. And then at the highest end of our health plans, the PPO 3 on a family plan, this year's premium is $3,203 per month. Next year, it's estimated to cost $3,771 per month, an increase of $567 per month, or $6,810 on the year. That's a 7.2% pay cut. These increases are not just numbers, they represent real sacrifices. Many of our colleagues are already living paycheck to paycheck, especially those supporting families. If these increases are passed on in full, educators will be forced to make painful choices, delaying care, cutting back on essentials, working second or third jobs, or even leaving the profession altogether. We appreciate that the district is exploring ways to reduce these costs. However, we urge you to go further. We ask that the district share in this financial burden by adopting a budget that includes increased compensation to directly offset these rising healthcare premiums. This is not just about cost containment, it's about valuing and retaining the people who make TTUSD strong. When we invest in the well-being of educators, we invest in the long-term success of our students. When we ease the burdens on our staff, we empower them to focus fully on what matters most, teaching and supporting kids. You have the opportunity to lead with both compassion and foresight. Please help us keep great educators in our classrooms. No one working for the district should have to choose between their health, paying rent, or putting food on the table. Thank you for your time, your service, and for making the well-being of your educators a priority in this year's budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll just, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. The 16, so now 17.0, thank you very much for that, Paula Bosser. 17.0 consent agenda, Superintendent Kramer, are there any changes to the consent as presented?
No items to pull from staff.
Board have any changes?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that?
The consent agenda, do you have any changes to the consent?
No, thank you. I don't.
With that, could I get a motion on the table for the consent agenda as presented?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Perfect, now 17, okay, that makes us 18.0, Superintendent Kramer.
Mrs. Roderick?
Thank you. Tonight, I'm pleased to present for your consideration a memorandum of understanding to establish a partnership between Aim High and the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District. This summer program partnership will leverage the resources and expertise of both organizations to expand and enhance learning opportunities for our students beyond the traditional school day and year. This MOU formalizes the framework under which TTUSD and Aim High will collaborate to deliver engaging, supportive, and enriching summer programs for our rising sixth grade students through ninth graders. Aim High's mission is to help middle schoolers build academic confidence, discover a love of learning, and develop the skills they need to thrive in high school and life. Through this partnership, Aim High will provide a free program for all participating students. They will provide a space, or TTUSD will provide a space at Keens Beach Elementary School for up to 100 students during the summer. TTUSD will provide transportation to and from Keens Beach Elementary School for all Aim High students enrolled in the program. Likewise, TTUSD will provide a one-time monetary contribution of $35,000. Through this support, Aim High will recruit students and educators prior to the summer of 2025. It is the staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees approves this memorandum of understanding.
Thank you very much for that. Any board comments or questions on this MOU?
No.
Just that it is extremely valuable, and we appreciate that, the number of kids that it touches and reaches, and then the amount of gratitude that those children share after going through it was great. And I do believe we heard from the DLAC and families today that that is an important part, so that's lovely. Any public comment? Bringing it back, that is an action item. Is there a motion on the table to approve the MOU?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU between the school district and Aim High for the summer of 2025.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And then 18.0A, Superintendent Kramer.
Mrs. Roderick?
Thank you. Tonight, I'm presenting a first read item for the board's information, the proposed instructional materials for the AP Spanish course at Truckee High School. The primary instructional material under consideration is Azuelo, Anthology and Guide to the AP Spanish Literature Culture course, second edition, standard-based curriculum that introduces students to a high-level thinking as it prepares them for the success in the AP Spanish Literature and Culture course. This textbook is tailored to the new AP curriculum, emphasizing a thematic approach through step-by-step textual analysis and provocative questions that challenge students to discover continuity and change across the genres and time periods. Within this text, every literary movement, author, and work for the latest AP exam will be shared with emphasis on cultural, historic, and thematic contexts. This is a first read for information only.
Thank you. Any board comments or questions on this? Obviously, I will not be making a comment on that. At some point, I just made a quick note that when we were at some point talking about not using as many textbooks and trying to do it more, like I thought we were reducing the number of textbooks that we got, but is that something that I was just dreaming?
This one will actually go twofold. It will also be used for the dual enrollment course that I'm bringing to the board on the 25th for a dual enrollment opportunity with Sierra Community College and their Spanish-speaking student language course. So we'll use it for AP and a dual enrollment. So the text is required by Sierra Community College for that dual enrollment opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. And then 18.3, Superintendent Kramer.
Mrs. Roderick?
Thank you. Tonight, I'm presenting a first read for the proposed instructional materials for the new Sierra High School CTE course, Forestry and Natural Resources. This primary textbook for this course is Introduction to Forestry Science, 3rd edition by Deborah Burton. This textbook is specifically designed for introductory courses in forestry and natural resources. It provides students with a comprehensive understanding of forest management by integrating scientific principles with practical forestry concepts. This is a first read for information only.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any public comment? Quick question, though. I just wanted to say that we will, on 18.2, we will then bring that back if there's no comments or changes to consent for next board meeting. Okay, and then this one, there is no text here, and is that something that we'll see, or?
So I shared with the board for consideration the link to the digital.
Just that, and so we don't have, okay, so we can
Correct.
just use that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep. And then 18.4, Superintendent Kramer.
Mrs. Roderick?
Thank you. Tonight, I'm presenting a first read item for the proposed North Tahoe High School newcomer English course for the school year 2025-2026. This course is designed for high school English language learners who are new to the English language and the U.S. school system. Aligned with the California English Language Development Standards and the California Common Core State Standards for English Language Arts Literacy, this course provides students with the foundational skills necessary for success in academic and social settings. Students will develop listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills through meaningful interactions, collaborative discussions, and structured language practice. By the end of this course, students will have developed greater confidence and competence in using English for both academic and everyday communication, preparing them for success in future coursework and beyond. This is a year-long course. This is a first read for information only.
Thank you. Comments from the board? Public? No. Thank you for that. I do want to make a point on this total 18, 2, 3, and 4 is that it's interesting that we have something for each, like we've done something at different schools. So it's, I'm hoping it's input from those schools saying that they need different things or, but I think it's amazing that we've been able to touch on, just in this board meeting, we've had 3 different schools get new things that are sort of pertinent to what their school needs. And I know we talked about with that with Sierra High, with the forestry and natural resources. That's a big push right now. And I think it's great that we're on track with that. And I'm bummed that Kate Teller just left because I did talk to her about something at school, and I have always complimented on how tough that class is. So I was wishing she was still here to hear that. But if there are no comments on this, we will bring this back with all the other 2, 3, and 4 to another consent at the next board meeting. We're going to skip 19.0 and just go to 20.0. And the reason I'm skipping consent items for poll is because I already agreed on that. 20.0 is personnel, Superintendent Kramer.
And for these items, we will turn to our Executive Director of Human Resources, Mr. Mike Shepard.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board. This first item we're recommending approval is for the Declaration of Need, or DON. So I didn't put that in there to give you one more acronym. This is a annual declaration that we seek board approval on, and these are estimates of how many folks we think we might need to apply for permits for out of their credential area. For example, a science teacher who also maybe needs to teach an engineering class, we can get them a permit to do that. But we have to have this document on file with the county office so that they can work with the commission and allow those types of permits to happen. So if there is, so you'll see quite a large number in there. There's really no rhyme or reason. I kind of elevate it high so I don't have to bring this as a revision if we run out of number. Like if I say I need 3 and we end up using 7, I would need to bring back the revision. And so we are recommending approval of this, and this is an annual routine item.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard. Any board questions or comments on this? Public comment? Seeing none, this is an action item, so if there is no comments or questions, could we get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the Declaration of Need for fully qualified educators for the 25-26 school year.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 20.2, Superintendent Kramer.
Mr. Shepard?
Thank you. Per board policy, we are required to have a school year calendar and dates set a year prior to them being in place. So before you tonight is setting the start and end times for the 26-27 school year. And this calendar is largely mirroring this year and next year. We did do an analysis of our first February week that was not ski skate, and we did not notice a decline in attendance. So with that, we did not bring you a revision for next school year this spring, and we are recommending that we mirror the same calendar format, and we will of course monitor next year's February week and have discussions. So with that, the 26-27 calendar, the first student day would be October 26, 2020, I'm sorry, August 26, 2026.
You just made a lot of students super happy.
Yes, yes. Sorry, students. And the last day would be June 7th, 2027, absent of snow days. And with that, we're recommending approval.
Thank you for that. So June 7th, absence of snow days, and then the snow days are built in. and that would be the unused. And we have, how many did we get then? We have 7 snow days.
Per your direction, we've built in 7 snow days.
Thank you. All right. Any board comments or questions on that start and end date? Any public comment? Seeing none, this is a info action. So without further ado, if there's no comments or questions, can we get a motion to approve the 26th, 27th school calendar, start dates?
I'll make a motion to approve the start date and end date for the 2026-2027 school calendar.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. 20.3, Superintendent Kramer.
Mr. Shepherd?
Thank you. For your consideration tonight is we're seeking approval for MOU Memorandum of Understanding number 5 with the TTEA. And this, as you well know, this MOU is a 1-year MOU to release our high school athletic directors full-time, because as we know, we have some very serious things to consider through next year, and we know that our athletic directors need more support and time to help accomplish whichever direction we decide ultimately to go. So we thank TTEA for partnering with us and recognizing this need, and we thank our athletic directors. So with that, any questions?
I do have one. In the event that we do not go to CIF the following year, is this MOU to be adjusted, rescinded?
Thank you. This MOU has an expiration date of June 30 of next year. So the MOU was written to automatically expire, and the athletic director's release time would revert back to contract language. And there's also obviously a clause in there that we could meet and mutually discuss a furtherance or a change. And so next, we do have if we decide to stay status quo and there's no need to release them the following year, this MOU already has that built in.
So next year, athletic directors will be released until June 30th, regardless of whether we go CIF or NI2A.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you have a concern about that, Mr. Mooney?
Yeah, if we stay with NI2A, then their jobs really don't change, and is the extra time needed? I mean, my argument is we need to increase athletic director time regardless anyway, and definitely if we're going to CIF. But if we're staying with NI2A, or is there?
Well, we would have to engage in those conversations as we don't really have definitive answer on what our reality is going to be past next year. But I'm sure once you've made a decision, that will spark much conversation.
Sure, well. Okay.
Well, again, Pat, I wrote the same thing down, so that I think this is a worthy discussion in the sense that I totally also agree that the ADs have a lot of work, and that's a lot that they do, they juggle. But if we don't, I'm almost thinking that I don't want to move forward with this until after our meeting on the Friday special meeting, just to hear more input. But also, they won't have a whole lot different work to do if we stay with NIAA, which we are doing this year anyway. So right now, as it stands, I think we're taking a year to decide. So we're not in any, they have some work to do, but we're not actively involved in scheduling with CIF.
So we'll talk more on Friday, and
Okay.
then we can bring it back to a regular board meeting as well. And we certainly can postpone the MOU. I think that's a great idea. But with the one-year delay, if the intent is to move to CIF for the 26-27, there's actually a lot of work they would be doing throughout the school year. But we'll certainly talk more on Friday on timelines. And
Okay, that makes.
so you'd like to pull this item and possibly bring it back?
I think it's a good idea, because if we've learned anything over this last month, it's like slower roll.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with postponing this approval of the MOU. I'm not against it, I'm just saying, let's take a beat.
That's funny, because I wrote down, I'm like, would they ever get any extra duty if there's no change? So that's, I mean, it was exactly the same concept. Oh, sorry, I do think the timing is appropriate, that we would wait till we have the special meeting.
Okay.
And I do understand that TTEA, that you have already, I said you, but that's already a sort of a step in place, that would be, they'd be willing to take that out of the teaching world.
With the understanding that they need the extra time.
Correct, okay. And that would,
And it does include an overage for one of the athletic directors, which is a consideration if they don't have the additional duties.
okay, so we'll find that, we can discuss that on, okay, so at this point, this is an info and an action. Am I correct in assuming that we are going to make the motion to, or not taking, we're not making, we're just going to take no action on this, and then we'll discuss it at the next board meeting after we've had conversation on the Friday meeting.
I would agree to that.
Are you good?
Really good, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Wow, way to go, Pat.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Business Services 21.0, thanks. Superintendent Kramer.
And for this item, we'll turn back to Mr. Rivera.
Thank you. So tonight, we're asking you to approve Agreement 25-31-11M with Asphalt Impressions, Inc. for the recoating of the tennis courts at North Tahoe High School. So it's been quite some time since those courts were refinished. It's been well over 10 years, which is usually the lifespan of a coating on a court. So we did solicit some proposals from several different vendors. Only 2 responded, and one of which could not perform the work within the timeline that we needed. So that left us with Asphalt Impressions in the amount of $70,266. We did look at other alternatives, such as repairing the existing damage. But then that would just kind of kick the can down the road and essentially create more problems. And it would probably only have about a 3-year lifespan. So, and the pricing on that was about a little bit less than half the cost of actually doing the entire coating. So we're recommending this proposal.
That's a lot to pave the parking lot. Okay, board comments on that, besides my bumble?
No, same. I mean, it's expensive, but it's kind of a specialty need, you know? It's not like we're talking about paving a parking lot, so you do have to find someone that has expertise in that, or it won't last, so.
10 years is good.
Yeah, and 10 years for that amount seems, reasonable if you stretch it out that long.
Anyone else? Any public comment? Okay, that is an action item. There it is. I was trying to find 25. So, would someone care to make a motion to approve 21.1?
I'll make a motion to approve Agreement 25-31-11M.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, aye, sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
How many courts is that?
I can't remember if it's 2 or 4. I should know that, but I'm sorry, I don't.
Maybe 2. Okay, thank you. 22.0, we will skip 22.1 and 22.2. So 22.3, Superintendent Kramer.
And for both these first reads, we're turning to our Executive Director of Student Services, Dr. Anna Marie Cohen.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Kramer. Good evening, President Driller, Board of Trustees, and community. Tonight, I'm presenting a first read of proposed revision to Board Policy 5146, Married Pregnant Parenting Students. These updates are provided specifically protecting students based on pregnancy, childbirth, lactation, and parental or marital status. Districts are required to offer reasonable accommodations and ensure access to lactation spaces for students. Schools cannot require health certifications for pregnant students' participation unless universally required and not used for discrimination. Furthermore, districts must follow Title IX grievance procedures for any alleged sex discrimination occurring in a district program. This is a first read for info only and will be brought back at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Public? thank you for that. We will bring that back. And now 22.4.
Dr. Cohen?
Okay, thank you. This is a first read of proposed new administrative regulation 6163.2, animals at school. This policy is being introduced to establish regulations for our schools specific to bringing animals to school for instructional purposes and the use of service animals by individuals with disabilities. For instructional animals, prior written permission from the principal is required after notifying parents about potential allergies and ensuring student safety measures are in place. These animals must be healthy, appropriately housed and handled, and cannot be poisonous or wild. For service animals, this policy specifies that trained dogs and miniature horses assisting individuals with disabilities are permitted on school premises and transportation with the provisions for their removal if uncontrolled or not housebroken. This is a first read for information only and will be brought back.
So,
Any questions?
Yes, the first question I was just going to jump on is, I was hoping that it wasn't bear or, mountain lion. No, I'm not joking. Any comments from the board? Those are not housebroken. And any public? Again, as always, we appreciate the first read, or the policy revisions. So thank you. There's always we never know quite what we're going to get. So it's very exciting. Thank you, because those are a lot of binders. So thank you very much for that. I think we're okay to bring that back for consent at the next meeting, if you're prepared. Moving quickly to 23.0, board business. Who would like to start us off?
Yeah, I'm loving this book. It's really wonderful. Reading some of the stuff about Sor Juana, a poet. I think this is going to be a great ad because it's not just the language piece, it's the cultural piece as well. I think we might need like a more air conditioner or something over here in this corner. I'm like really, really hot, and I don't know if it's like I'm having hot flashes and it's summer. I can't tell the difference anymore. But this little fan here is lovely, but it's really not cutting it for me for these late night summer meetings. I'm just dying over here.
That's just warm, okay.
Okay, we'll work on some fans and AC.
And then we obviously did get to attend some of the fabulous graduations, Truckee High, North Tahoe High, Sierra High School, which were all amazing. A little on the toasty side as well. I'm having kind of a toasty summer. And then also, what else? Alder Creek Middle School, I got to check out the open house for that, and also Glenshire Elementary open house, which were really, really lovely and magical and fun. So, congratulations, we're almost done. Almost made it to another ending of the school year.
Thank you. Chris, what do you got for us, Chris?
Well, to kind of piggyback on your comments about the high schools and the end of the school year, so I used to apologize that I had a favorite event, but I'm no longer apologizing. Sierra High School Literacy Circle, and I'm sure it has a different name now. It just marks the beginning of the end of the school year for me, but there's something so symbolic about seeing that specific group of students embrace literature and work as a team to make their boards and to answer questions. I got here at like 9:01 and the room was full. Turns out it was cells. And I know they usually, they come every year, but it was just the energy in the room, and kudos to Sierra High School and Ms. Zapata for continuing to just give those kids, those students, an opportunity to embrace books and reading on free time and literature, and it's just, there's nothing bad about that at all. And so anyway, I just wanted to say good work, Sierra High School students, and then congratulations to all of the graduating students for 2025. All the graduations were great. They each have their own flavor, and I love that about our district. I love that we're that district that is small enough you can tell the differences in the school cultures and the relationships between the students and the teachers and the administration. This was super fun. Okay, I had a couple of things. So I have been on the fly talking with Superintendent Kramer about next year's strategic plan. I'm just looking at you because I'm nervous. And I really want us to consider, board, I've always had this thing about like our STEM programs and AI and EI and all of that, but I'm reading a lot and I'm seeing a lot on different shows, and I'm hoping that we can budget the futurist to come back, and if not that futurist, a futurist. But just, I feel like we have to elevate our conversation around AI and how to prep our students. If what I'm reading and hearing is correct, I mean, we're talking within a 5 to 10 year time frame. It's a completely different world. And it goes beyond, I used to think about it in ways of, you know, our kids need to know engineering and all these mechanical skills to work on robots. It's going beyond that. And I just want to really bump up our conversation around that for the strategic plan and see where we land as a team. But that's coming, and I'm coming in hot. I'm just saying. Okay, and then my apologies to any athletic staff and athletic directors. I will be via Zoom or Google Meet, whatever the process is, and I'm really sorry about that. It's a family commitment, but I do value what you are going to bring to the table, and I'm super excited to hear your point of view and learn from your expertise, but I will not be there face-to-face, so if you are listening, I just wanted to put that out there. And then I think that's it for this evening. I have more, but it's not necessary because it's been a long meeting. But I'm super proud of our district, super grateful for you guys, and one more school year wrapped under our belts here almost, so thank you. Yeah.
I had the opportunity to go see Pinkalicious, which I didn't mention at the last meeting, and it made me realize that the community needs to come out. These students work really hard, and just seeing how excited they are. And I brought the whole family, and I would say my 12-year-old was kind of like, why am I going to this? But I think he did appreciate the humor. The cupcakes were hilarious. And I just think, you know, as a community, it's such a fun event. It was pretty short, which is nice too. But our students do such a good job with theater and any of the events that we have, whether it's band or other things, that, you know, we talk about finding opportunities for students that are sort of healthy things that they can do outside of our school hours. And I do look at those as opportunities. I mean, you have a theater kid, so you know, but it was super fun, so I just wanted to plug that. And I will be going to as many as I can get to, because I just think it's really fun. And then same, I went to graduations and a lot of just other kind of community events, and had lots of conversations with parents still sort of about the athletics discussion. So that's not going away. I went to the bakery this morning and had a conversation. So I think everyone's still concerned, you know, what we're doing, and they're aware about this meeting on Friday, which I think is good. But I also think a lot of people can't attend, so whatever we can do to, you know, summarize and produce that information, I think will be helpful, and then we'll do our best, you know, to distribute as a board too, just so that people are aware of what we're kind of discussing and sort of what next steps are.
I've enjoyed going to some of the year-end events, graduations, and performances, and the like, and even some sporting events. And I have to say that the most inspiring probably event that I went to this year and have gone to in the past also is the graduation ceremony for Sierra High School. First of all, my hat's off to Jeff Santos for really putting on a meaningful, thoughtful, a high-level sort of graduation for the kids who did graduate, the 20 or so kids that graduated from Sierra High. And to hear some of the obstacles and stories that some of these kids have overcome to get to where they got to on graduation day was really inspiring and important to hear. It's why we work so hard to get them there and to help them get there. It was great to hear. And so that was a nice ceremony. I plan to attend that one in the future as well. The other thing I want to mention is I want to thank Paula and Teresa and Dr. Stakely, Dave, for their comments on the health insurance business, because I find this to be, I'm aghast, and I find these increases to be absolutely absurd and incomprehensible. I don't know who they think they are to raise rates like this. 24.7% overall, and some of these, I believe, as Dr. Dave said, 40%. For Teresa was mentioning that for her, employee plus family, she is going from paying a premium out of her pocket, not the district expense, which is a different number, but out of her pocket, going from paying $1,800 a month, which is a lot of money, to $2,588. That's an increase of $800 per month. Not for the year. It'd be bad enough if it was just for the year. I'm not going to pretend to try to get into how to negotiate this or how to share the responsibility with our bargaining units, but what I am going to ask the district is that they think outside the box on how to solve this problem. That CBT and Anthem is, in my mind, they're not helping us. They are not for us, as I believe, as Paula said. And thank you for these. I mean, when you put it in terms of pay cuts, and so whatever we have to do, I know that we've shopped around in the past, and maybe that's what we need to do. And I know Todd's already working on that. And maybe we need to, I wish I was smart enough and knew enough about this to think outside the box about other ways to provide health insurance for our employees that is affordable. I've heard from teachers, and I know that there's classified staff as well, who are struggling to stay in the community in which they work. And some of them can't do it. They are losing ground. They are thinking of ways of getting out because they can't afford to stay here. And this is going to be the straw that breaks their back. So we have got to come up with a plan that is going to solve this, or at least address it. I know healthcare costs go up every year. That's a given. But this is absurd. This is outrageous. And I hope that we can release ourselves from these people and find something that works for all of us.
Thank you.
And on that note,
I'm not going to cut you off. Yeah. Just a quick heads up. Thank you. I don't want you to leave on a bad note, but thank you for that. The North Tahoe High School has 4 courts for tennis. So it's.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And
So
are
it's
those available for board members to use?
absolutely. You pay what, $70 a visit, and you can do it. Yes, Chris, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you, Ms. Bossler, because we've seen the numbers. Like, we were given the numbers, right? And everything that Mr. Mooney said. But yes, when you presented it as a pay cut, that definitely, I mean, we know it's horrible, but when you presented it that way, it definitely illuminates it differently for me. Thank you.
I know we're getting late. Would you like to hear an update from Mr. Rivera of where we are in the process, or would you rather wait? We can put it in the board letter. Mr. Rivera, do you want to share a little bit of what the committee's been working on? Because there's a team of people that have been working hard on this.
Yeah, so several weeks ago, we did engage with the benefits consultant that put together a request for proposal to shop around essentially with other large pools and trusts within California, also with direct carriers. That deadline is coming up soon. I can report that we have not received any proposals yet at this time. We actually had some of large pools that declined to quote. I think that's really, in summation, just kind of the time of the year. This isn't really the time of the year that you shop around necessarily. We have kind of a unique timeline because of when our benefit year starts with CVT, but we're going to continue looking at other solutions. And we'll continue to look at solutions if we don't get a proposal that is best for the district. So this is all something that's a surprise to everybody, including myself. It's something that we don't take lightly at all. We understand what the impact is to employees, and although it's a 24.7% increase, basically because we have a health and welfare benefit cap, all of that increase falls on the employee, which for them is a much larger increase, sometimes closer to 40 to 50% from what they're paying now out of their own pocket. So we're going to leave no stone unturned trying to figure this out. So I know it's not an easy thing. As far as healthcare costs, they are going up. There is no cheap plans out there. Many districts are experiencing double-digit increases. We experienced one last year, and this was a shock because we did experience already a double-digit increase. So we had no expectation that we'd see twice as much as what we saw last year. But we'll just continue to work on it and try to find solutions either at the table or looking for other structures that we can look at, even with direct carriers.
Or thank you, yeah, sorry. Thank you for letting us know where we are. Yeah, it's definitely, it's just surreal, and I appreciate the work going out. It's, yeah, there's no, yeah, I don't know what to say. End of year is crazy. I think I went to every school. I didn't get to Donner Trail, but did a couple field trips with Truckee L, which is exciting. And then the open houses are they're just fun. It's, as you say, they're just fun to watch. But the community support in our little high schools is awesome. Just blows me away. Excellence in Ed and scholarship nights are just crazy amounts. And I say that every year. It's wild. Yeah, we are very lucky where we are. I mean, even though this 24 came down hard, our district, we are very lucky. And I think all of us enjoy where we are. So I'm obviously rooting for you to find some solution. With that, we have a meeting on Friday for the athletics. We will be back in 2 weeks, and then we're coming back early for our closed session.
Yep.
Okay. With that, 7:28. Meeting's adjourned. There we go.
All clear.
Thank you. 3:30. Thank you, Pat.